Hello and welcome to episode number 6 of SUPERCALIFUNNELISTIC. My name is Christian Rauchenwald, and for those of you who tune in the first time, in this vlog/podcast, I'm talking about or documenting my journey on building $1 million company and try in each episode to teach you something or some of the things that I learned throughout the journey, as well as let you in on the progress in the good and the bad way. So things that succeeded and things I failed on the way, and hopefully learn something from. Today we're going to be talking about a book, or the core principle of a book that I really recommend to a lot of people. It's called The Richest Man of Babylon. It's probably not widespread and not well known. The core or the center of the book is simply it should help people who are bad with money management to master it once and for all, and it does so by some simple principles. One of the core rules is always pay yourself first. So before we get further into that, I want to mention this book or the core principles. They are mostly targeted for people who are struggling with the money management, and also for those people who have some kind of debt. Doesn't matter if it's a huge debt, a small debt, but that's like the kind of person the book is for. I was also in this position throughout my life, like on multiple occasions. Till I finally reached a point where I'm debt free and where I don't have to worry about, like a debt collector showing up or paying late fees, and where basically it got to a point where everything I own or have is paid. There's no credit or loan or anything like that, and it really changes your life when you go to bed and even if you lose your job tomorrow or you don't have income, it's kind of like your monthly expenses are not as high when you don't have like 100, 200 euros or dollar every month to pay back for some loan or credit. So it's kind of like it lifts weight off your shoulder. So I assume this will help a lot of people. And while we are after explaining the core principles of the book, I'm also going to link the book in the descriptions below so you can get it from Amazon. And I'm also going to show you like an easy way in our modern world to actually live what the book is teaching in your everyday life without a lot of effort. So the core principle, as said, is always pay yourself first. What that means is even if you're having debt and even if you struggle with making a living based on your current income, you should always pay yourself first. Meaning you always should get a little money for you, but not to spend it. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not like, okay, you should take your money and party and buy, unnecessary stuff with it. What the core principle is from no matter how much money you earn, no matter if it's on a regular job where you get paid monthly or bi-weekly, or if you're working on commission and you get paid every couple of days, or no matter what, the first rule is you take 10% of of everything you earn, and you put it aside. You put it on some kind of savings account that's for you hard to reach, so it shouldn't be something that's available in your online banking so you can spend it in an instant. And you do that to build savings, but not savings for bad situations, but savings for investment. Because as Warren Buffett says, if you cannot find a way to earn money while you sleep, you will work till you die. And those 10%, how little it may be, even if you only earn $1,000 and you put away $100 per month, it's going to be 1,200 without interest per year. And with 1,200, you may already be able to, maybe buy some stocks, or I don't know, depending on which country you're living in or in which country you plan to build your investment empire. It may allow you to already make a small down payment on some, very small studio apartment. I really don't know. I know in the US it would be ridiculous to try that with $1,000. In the Ukraine, for example, it would be perfectly possible because here apartment prices start at roughly $10,000 for small studio apartments that are probably the size of my office. That said, so that's the core principle. Now a lot of you will be but I hardly will be saying that you hardly can survive on your current salary as it is. But if you think about it in another way, when you were young and you didn't have your own money, so you get your allowance or pocket money from your parents or grandparents or whoever, you like, maybe you had like $10, $20 or $50 or even a couple $100, it doesn't matter. Back then for you this seemed like a lot of money, like $100 were really, really a lot. And then when you started working after school or learning some profession, and there you got paid, you suddenly every month got a couple $100 fixed. And it seemed like a lot of money till you tried to buy, I don't know, a new iPhone, and you realized, okay, I cannot get the iPhone with that. And then you made the mistake most people do, but I can finance it. Yeah, and suddenly like you pile up on liabilities. Yeah, meaning like your monthly expenses go up just so you have stuff that you actually don't really need. Because who needs actually an iPhone? There's a million other smartphones. Or who needs the newest iPhone? There's a million older iPhones you could buy, which also have all the smartphone capabilities. Yeah, like reading your emails if you actually need email every day, being on social media and all that stuff. Yeah. So that said, like that's the core principle. And so as you go there, then you earn more and more. And the main problem is, as your salary rises or your income rises, your expenses too as well. Now imagine once you have the step from like, I don't know, like earning $500 per month to earning $1,000 per month. Before you got that $1,000, you somehow managed to survive on the $500. Maybe you were still living with your parents, maybe for some other reason, but you managed to survive. And now when you get that $1,000 the first time, and you would start putting the 10% away, at this point, you would simply learn to live with $900 and it would be fine. Because if you tell yourself that's all you have and you ignore the 10% like they don't even exist, you wouldn't have another option. And that's basically how it works. If your boss would only pay you $900, you also wouldn't have another option. It has to work, or you need to get a second job or something. Yeah. So that's really the core principle. To pay yourself first, to put 10% away. So no matter what it is, you build up some kind of savings, but not to buy some stuff. Yeah, like to waste it on some liability, like buying, I don't know, like Gucci, Prada and Louis Vuitton stuff, or iPhones or computers or whatever. Yeah, like no consumer electronics, nothing that costs you money and has no value. And if you're like me years ago, and then you keep telling yourself, yeah, well, but I can sell the Xbox again and I get money back. Yeah, but you lose money. Like when you have to sell it, you have to probably sell it urgently, so you have to make a bad deal. So it's not an investment, it's losing money. If you invest it somehow, and even if you get only 50 cents per month interest, it's another $6 per year that you didn't have to work for. And believe it or not, that's how your passive income empire, when it comes to investment, starts. Yeah, to have some small interest coming in every month or every year, and then you just pile on top and pile on top. So for those of you who are in the lucky situation without to have no debt at all, that's basically all you need to learn, to put 10% away. But again, in the end of the episode, I'm going to teach you how to easily achieve that. Yeah. For those of you who have debts, it's a little bit more tricky because there the book teaches you should like put your 10% away, again, pay yourself first, and then you use 20% every month to pay off your debt. Yeah, which means if you earn $1,000, you put a $100 aside to save them for future investments, and you take $200 and you pay your debts back. It doesn't matter how big your debt is, but you pay $200. Yeah, of course, if you have a very, very huge debt where $200 don't even cover the interest, you obviously need to find a solution to earn more money. But you're still only going to use 20% to pay back your debt. You can try to like talk to the people who you owe money to and make a deal with them. You know, maybe they freeze the interest as long as you pay monthly fixed. If it's smaller debts, yeah, maybe it was like, I don't know, a $100 thing that you didn't pay, and then there's like the late fees and this and that, and suddenly it's $600. Then you can try to call them, and you can basically bluff a little, and you can simply say, you know, I don't have the money, as you know, because you've been trying to collect it from me for quite some time, but I really, really want to pay that back. A friend of mine would be willing to lend me $200, but he would only be willing if it would be like, if it would clear the debt. So if they like forfeit some of their like late fees and stuff like that, then he would lend it to you so you could clear this debt and you pay him back the $200. Yeah. And if whoever you're owning the money has been waiting long enough, they will simply consider, well, it will cover the original cost, it will cover most of the effort for sending you letters and stuff like that. and they will be happily accepting it. And suddenly you still paid more than you should have if you paid on time, but you will pay less than they actually want right now. I had this situation as well, because when I moved to Asia, and I handled like my open debt from Austria from there, I forgot about an open debt to an electricity provider. Yeah? And so over the years, then I moved back to Germany, and at some point they sent me a letter there, and over the years, like 400 something euro in debt became 1,300 euro with late fees and this and that, which is really, really like, so it's really, we were talking about less than 10 years, and I owe them more than 3 times the money I originally owed them. So since I had a stable job, like working with a fixed contract for one of my bigger clients, it was not a problem. I could have paid the 1,300 as well easily, but I simply wrote them, and I on purpose wrote them from my Hong Kong company email address, so they still see, okay, I'm not like within Austria, so for them it's gonna be like hard to collect. And I offered them, you know what, like I told them honestly, like, that it may sound like an excuse, but and I'm usually not like that, but I simply forgot about that debt. B, that I really, really want to pay it. C, that I don't have 1,300 euro, and D, that I can offer now to pay them 800 euro if they accept it, that it will clear the debt. And I waited a couple of weeks, and suddenly they agreed upon it. I paid the 800, so I still paid double the money. Yeah, it was like a lesson for me to learn. But that debt was cleared with this, yeah, and I didn't have to pay. I saved 500 euro from the worst case scenario, which is still a lot of money. Like, how long do you have to work for that kind of money? Yeah, so that's like the gist of it. Like, what you can take from it to save 10% of your monthly income. Yeah, if you don't know how to do this yet, the solution I will provide you in a few minutes will help you to do that. It starts with, like, you need to know how much you have to, my English today is so bad. You need to know how high your monthly expenses are, like what you're paying for, and then you need to go through it and like get rid of everything you don't really need, like for example your Netflix account, because while you are in debt, you should be focusing on making money and getting out of debt instead of focusing on leaning back and just turning off your brain and watching some TV. It may sound harsh, but you do this for a couple of months, you're debt free, and suddenly your life is so much better. It's like, even if you don't build a business, even if you decide to work the next 40 years for some company and don't even try to achieve to become wealthy, doing that alone will like change your life in so many ways. So in the end, like once you've optimized things and over the time you will get raises or a better job, or you will build your business and earn more, over the time your final goal should be that you're able to live from 70% of what you make. So if you earn $1,000, you should be able to live with 700 of them. If you earn $10,000, you should be able to live with 7,000, and the 30% that's left you put aside. That's like the final goal. Once you've reached that, just imagine, write down the number that you currently earn, calculate 30% for it, and then multiply it by 12 to just imagine how much you can put aside every year. And then it's like you can use it for investment as planned. The 10%, the 20% you can use for expensive vacations if you really want to, or to buy a new car or a new phone or whatever. But you will see, doing that, it's like one step at a time. It's going to get you out of debt. It's going to allow you to reach some kind of financial freedom where you don't have to worry about people knocking at your door, and don't have to worry about losing your job. Just imagine if you would have like 2 or 3 months salary on the side. It also, if you feel stuck in your job and you hate it, you don't have to worry about losing it. You could simply quit and then take your full time to find a better job, instead of trying during the week while you already have to work 40 hours to also apply at new positions. So that said, now this may sound very hard for you, but there's really an easy way. It's called Daily Budget. It's an application. I'm also going to link it for Android and iOS. That comes free. The versions on Android and iOS are slightly different, but they share the same core functions, which is there you have like a income section where you simply enter your fixed income. Like if you have a fixed salary, you enter the fixed salary there. If you have a base salary plus something on top, you enter the base salary there. And what it does, it breaks it down to you for you to 30 days. So if you earn $1,000, it's going to be like on the average month, or not 30 days, but on the month, on each month per day. If you have $1,000, it's going to be roughly $33 per day that you can spend based on 30 days. Yeah. And then you have an expenses section where you enter all your expenses. You enter your rent, you enter your electricity if you pay it monthly fixed. You enter your insurances, you enter everything. Yeah, but only those things that are fixed amounts. Yeah, like where there's like no difference. Like for example, your groceries every month are going to be different. And what it then does, it also breaks that down. You can enter it. You can say you have a contract that you only pay yearly. It also is going to divide it up per days, so you know how much per day this is going to costing you. Yeah, and it's then gonna calculate the difference, and you're gonna see how much money every day you have free to spend without making debt. Then the last thing you can enter there is a savings goal. So you could set it either to a fixed value, or, which is what I recommend, you send it to 10% of however much you earn. Yeah, and this way it's also going to remove the 10% from the calculations. And then on the main screen of the application, you're simply going to see how much money you have available today. It will be like if you start now and you earn $1,000 and you would have zero expenses, it would say $33. And then when you go out throughout your day and you want to drink a coffee at Starbucks or something, you simply pay your coffee, and then you enter that expense into the application, and it's going to remove that whatever $5, $6, $7, $8, and it will show you, okay, you have like $25 left for today. If you don't spend anything, it will the next day like take the rest, like the $25 in our case now, and add the $30 or $33 from the next day on top of it. Yeah. So instead of like, I think it's a common problem I also used to have, like you get money and then you have this pile of cash on your bank account, and it may be a small pile or a huge pile, but it's still a pile. And then you see something, you see an ad for the new Xbox, you see an ad for a new phone, you see whatever it is, yeah, new festival tickets, and you see, oh, I have this pile of cash, I can buy it. And then at the end of the month you have zero left, or you even have to like stretch it at the end of the month to even be able to have something to eat. And what the app does for you, it basically takes that pile from like the vertical view you see it, and it flips it over and puts it in a horizontal perspective over your whole month, and even considering things that you only pay yearly. So there's no surprises for you as long as you consider entering the data one time properly. And this way, like your only goal is then with the application at the end of the month to have the application like around zero or positive. Even if it's like minus $10 or something, or plus $5, it doesn't really matter. If it's a huge plus, it means you paid all your bills. Yeah, you reached your 10% savings goal, plus the huge plus on top of it. Yeah, so this way, you will kind of have like your personal financial advisor that doesn't take rocket science to figure out, always with you. I showed this application to my personal trainer, Abdul Salam, and he also had the problem. Like he gets paid twice per month, and then he has that pile of money, and then it's like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And with the application, it changed. It's like, for example, when he is on the way to the gym where he's teaching, usually he stops somewhere for a coffee, even though there is like free coffee and not bad coffee at the gym. So with the application, suddenly it changed, because like he already spent some other things, and so it told him he has only for today whatever like $3 left or something. And then when he wants to walk into the coffee shop, he remembers he only has $3 left, and he makes the decision to not drink that coffee here because he doesn't really need it, and simply continue to the gym and drink the coffee there, which doesn't cost him anything. So it helped him save money because he didn't look at how much money he has in his pocket or on his bank account or on his what's his credit card limit. He simply looked at how much is he allowed to spend today. It also has an amazing benefit because you will instantly know if your salary is not enough to cover your lifestyle. So it's kind of will be like a red flag that will tell you, okay, you should or you need to reduce expenses or increase your income. Yeah, so it's gonna it's gonna help you avoid getting into deep debt. That's basically it. Yeah. So as said, in order to get these applications, check out the links below. If there are no links below because you're watching this or listening to this or on some medium where I cannot provide the links, then simply check out my social media or look for the episode in my YouTube channel, because there the links below are going to be available. I hope it's a helpful advice to most of you. Even if you don't have financial problem, those applications help you to really quickly gain an overview of how much you can afford to spend. They also have a function, or at least the iOS version. For the Android, I don't know, to enter big expenses. Like if you plan to buy a new MacBook for I don't know, $2,000, you can enter them, and then you can see how much they're gonna if you start saving on today or tomorrow or yesterday, how much every day you have to remove from your daily budget to be able to afford it in a week, a month, a year, whatever. You can just enter the date when you want to buy it. And so it's also going to help you make reasonable decisions, because if you would say, oh, I want to buy the new MacBook next month, and it's going to tell you need to put aside almost $100 per day, but you only have $30 budget, you will instantly realize, okay, it's not possible unless you use your savings, which are not meant for that. Yeah. And therefore you can just adjust the date then to instead of next month, it's then in 6 months or 7 months. Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but still, then you're gonna see it's possible. You're not gonna suffer, and you're still gonna be able to save. So when you buy the MacBook, it doesn't mean your bank account is a zero. Your savings account is still gonna be growing 10% every month. Yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah. If you have any problems with that, again, use the comment function below if there is any. If there's none in the medium you're listening or watching this, then simply use the comment function in the at YouTube. Search for this episode. There's a playlist called SUPERCALIFUNNELISTIC. The episodes are in order, so go there and leave the comment there, and I'll try to help as good as I can and as much as my time allows it. Go get the applications. Also, I encourage you, go get the book and read it for yourself, because obviously it provides more information than what I've been sharing with you. I just try to compress it as much as possible, and it also provides it with different stories, which make it really, really easy to understand why it's a smart move to do and why actually you would be an idiot if you don't follow it. And thank you for listening or watching, no matter where you do that. Yeah. Make sure to leave reviews, please. So if you're listening to the podcast, leave some reviews so I know if you like what I'm talking about or if I should talk about something else. And also feel free to leave comments and tell me if you have any questions or ideas. What do you want me to talk about? What do you want to know? I'm open about everything. And yeah, that's it. So I wish each of you a pleasant day, morning, evening, whatever it is at the current time you're watching or listening to this. And talk to you soon, basically tomorrow, if you tune in again. So, bye-bye.